What's up, guys? So I just wanted to jump on camera, and as always, I make these videos to try and share stuff that has helped me in my life, but also I talk to the camera because it's that one type of day that I can, express my thoughts, and it actually helps me understand myself better. I'm here, this is my kitchen, and I'm talking to a camera, and as I'm talking, I'm figuring things out, problems that I deal with. I take notes, and that helps me. But a lot of times it's just me kind of throwing up, trying to make sense of the world. And I think that you guys hear some of this stuff and you can agree with it or not. But one thing that I really hope that you will do is take part in the discussion in the comments. And I don't want you to agree with everything I say. I want you to have your opinion. I want you to tell me your beliefs and to criticize me and tell me where I go wrong. This video is made because I sort of had a lot of thoughts going on, just about spirituality. I've never really considered myself a very spiritual person. I do meditate, and I was once brought up in a Christian household, but I moved on from those beliefs. And as I got older, in 2018, I've noticed many people are focused on enlightenment, spirituality, and getting rid of the ego. Like getting rid of the ego is what you need to do to live the best life. And I've been thinking about these for a long time. And recently, I saw this video between the YouTuber Frank Yang and Elliott Hulse, and I love both of these guys. Elliott played a huge role in my life, teaching me about a number of different things: lifting, cold showers, meditation, bioenergetics, and all that. And then Frank Yang is sort of an awesome guy, plays the violin, very artistic. His videos, quality editing. The guy's just super funny, and he did a video with Elliott Hulse. And if you know Elliott Hulse is like the wise king. He's has this aura to him that is of wisdom, power, strength, very masculine. And it was so funny and sort of startling to see him with Frank Yang, because Frank Yang is completely opposite. He's very funny in a sense that he doesn't take things too seriously. And when I watch Frank's videos, it seems like a theme of Frank's is enlightenment, blowing the ego out, seeing life as it really is, without all these structures. You ever been to a Catholic church? I remember when I first went to a Catholic church, I went in and I was completely mind blown at how structured everything seemed. There was the benches aligned. There was the paintings on the wall. There was this glass. There was this miraculous order to things. It was all man-made. And that was so unfamiliar to me and strange, because in a Christian church, you don't really have that. I mean, you have, maybe a cross and some cool paintings, but in a Christian church, Pentecostal, everyone's standing up, clapping, praising the Lord. We have a guy on drums, hitting the hi-hat. We got this guy on guitar jamming out. You go in a Catholic church, it's nothing like that. It's like you stand there, oh, hey, oh. You say your Hail Marys, very structured, very orderly, very man-made. There's this man-made concept there. And I know I don't want to lose you guys here, but when I watch Frank's videos, I feel like he is literally trying to shatter your perception of reality. And you see this by him wearing a VR headset and playing the violin. Or maybe he's doing pull-ups and there's a dildo there and he's deep-throating the dildo. It's what the fuck's this guy doing? But there's something special there, and he's trying to tell you a very important message, I believe. And I don't know Frank. But what I get from that is that none of this really matters. All the things that man has made, all of these things that we call careers and having enough money and owning a nice car, it really doesn't matter. All these wars, what the fuck is the point of war? What's the point of all this? What's the point of life? And I think that, he's trying to get to a point where the ego is no more. There's no more identity of self. And I've always left his videos admiring him, but also leaving a little bit like something's wrong there. And this is what I realized when I watched the video between Elliott, Hulse, and Frank Yang is that you have one man that here seems very orderly, very masculine and king-like, and then you have one man over here that is sort of like the king's jester, the joker. And in a court, right, you have this guy that has to make all these rules and enforce them and call the shots, but then you also have his group of men that he counsels with, or the king's jester, right, to provide the entertainment to enlighten the king in a sense. And so it was very strange because everything that Elliott was saying, I want to write a book about me. I want my wife when she dies to write a book about me and this and that. And then Frank's over here coming back with some witty comment about how, he's sexual innuendos and jokes he's cracking, and Elliott's just kind of like, what the hell? But Frank's just keeps going. And in humor, in a sense, that's what humor is. The funniest things are things that we laugh at. Like, I heard a funny story, or a funny joke. It's like, I have a best friend that just quit smoking, and the next day he got hit by a tobacco truck and died. And it's like, stuff like that's funny because it's out of the normal. That's not really a good example at all. That's the only joke that I could remember. But reality is very structured. Modern day civilization comes with a price that you follow a certain routine, structure, order. And what's funny is usually goes against and breaks down that order. Like a beautiful painting, right? It shatters that painting. It's like throwing paint on that. And so we find those things funny. We laugh out loud because it's like so absurd sometimes. And what I've realized is that many of us are trying to seek enlightenment. I believe Frank is trying to seek enlightenment, trying to get rid of the ego, because the ego is responsible for holding on to all these preconceived notions and all these thoughts. It's always worried about tomorrow. It's worried about the past. It's worried about the bills. It's not free. And so one way to have fun in life is to become childlike. And you see that in Frank's humor, in his demeanor. And I have friends like that. I myself have that in me where I can see the bigger picture, I believe. But I think that many people that are searching for spirituality are using spirituality as the answer. They want to shatter the mind. They want to be enlightened. That's what enlightened, understanding all at once, Satori. That I have experienced, and I think that, it's more of a mindset. And this is where I want you guys to correct me if I'm wrong, because maybe there is something deeper. Maybe there's extraterrestrial. Sure, extraterrestrial has nothing to do with it. Maybe there's multiple universes and we're all interconnected, and there's all this crazy abstract imagery, and there's, I don't know, maybe it goes way deeper than that. But I think enlightenment is understanding that, we're all pretty much the same. Life is suffering. Life is not always fun. Many of us, we're worried about the next day. We're worried about money. And we're all trying to live a life that is meaningful. We're trying to get through the day. Some of us are better at that than others. Some of us has better answers than the next man. But I think that enlightenment in a sense is very close to a nihilistic view. At least you can interpret it that way. If you see, nothing really matters. Like this little feud that you're having with your family doesn't really matter. That person that you were angry with doesn't matter. The wars don't matter. Well, if you ask that question, well, that begs the other question. Well, what does matter? What does matter? And I think many of us are pretty damn enlightened, man. We're trying to find meaning. We're trying to find out what matters for you, for me, and for someone else. And so I believe that spirituality is coming to terms and being enlightened and trying to find something that you can hold on to. But I think that instead of holding on or finding that thing that you can grasp onto, we oftentimes use spirituality as a sort of cover-up. It's like a Band-Aid over the boo-boo, right? It's a Band-Aid over the wound. Because many of us growing up, man, life wasn't always fun. I got a little sister. I lost my parents at 18, 19. I think it was just about to turn 19. But my little sister, she was 13, 14 years old. And when I see her now, she's a grown woman. She's 19, I think. But she seems to have some resentment. So she just She seems angry very easily. And I don't know what she had to deal with. I don't know what goes on in her psyche. I don't know what goes on in her mind. And I think that many of us are dealing with something like this pain of the past. Now you may think, oh, everything's fine, everything's good in my life. But really, I want you guys to like peel back those layers. I don't know if I already said this because the video cut out. But like some of you had a father that would come home and beat your mother and then beat you, and maybe a raging alcoholic. Or maybe you never even had a father. Maybe you never had a mom. Maybe you had bullies picking on you, putting you down. And you see, you sort of develop ways to cope. You develop ways of thinking that, you got to keep going forward, man. You live another day. So you can't just let that bring you down. And so you continue to go. But for many of us, it's like now that we're here, instead of using spirituality as to cover, a Band-Aid over the wound, over the boo-boo, it's like, man, spirituality is good in that you can understand that we all are humans. We all shit. We all eat, right? We all fuck. We all sleep. But many of us just need to go back and get real and find out and forgive and let go and like fix up that time that you were really lonely and that you were really sad and understand, life is hard. It's not just about seeking enlightenment, seeking to shatter your ego, because nowadays living is very hard. It's always been hard. Life has always been hard, and you need that ego. You need that sense of self. You need to be smart to think and to understand and to know. Knowledge helps you understand certain things, but it's like you need order in your life. Life is kind of hard, man, right? It's not always fun. And so you need to piece it together and to day by day understand, not just blow out the whole thing. And some people try to do that with like drugs and stuff. People ask me, am I going to do mushrooms? Like, fuck no, man. I'm not going to mess with my brain. Like, I'm not going to mess with this thing, right? It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And so making peace with your past, but really, really making peace with your past, guys. I'm going to end the video here. I think I said everything I want. Let me see. So from here, I think that it is easy to be lonely. And I think as a man especially, is that we need to engage in dialogue, engage in conversation that may be uncomfortable, a critical conversation, or just more conversation. Talk to men that have wrestled with the same demons that you have, so that you can get a better understanding, so that you can solve the problems. Don't try to do this on your own, and that's what I want to talk about in the next video. So guys, thanks for joining me. I'll see you soon.